1 2 1 2. Yes, everybody, I'm here, Roger Moore, New Star Radio, covering for the Awakening Show. Let me just get this vibe and sounds just to get a little bit right and everything. Still, everyone can hear me clearly, guys?
Yes.
We've got some guests on the show today, people. We've got Minalta, aka Nelson, aka me. Which one we got today?
Minty, I'm here, Roger. I'm here. Thank you for having me, man. How you doing, guys?
Oh, everyone's sweet, man. Everyone's sweet. And we got Colin Peters.
Hey.
Oh yeah, you can hear
the
that voice.
The man himself.
So I can hear that voice well clear. Yeah. So guys, you cool? You comfortable with your headphones? Everything's comfortable?
Everything's
ready
good,
to go
man.
in today?
Yeah.
All right, guys. We've just to kick off the day. I think we had a bit of Tripoli. Shock up some of the extra people got in the room and everything. You know, you got Tripoli, you got from his latest project, Unashamed. A bit of a sample from back in the day. I suppose, Colin, I don't know if you recognise the sample in there. Yeah. Can't hide that sample, you know. And he did a track called Too Cold, the first track we played today, all from Tripoli, latest from Gospel, late 2016, almost into 2017. But guys, you know, we just want to kind of vibe it up. We're gonna get urban vibe, but we're gonna be touching on a subject which transcends urban gospel. You know, my friend James, which everyone knows, Rev James, he's always criticizing me about can't say urban music, but you know, I'm not saying urban music, you know, just covering the whole urban music, yeah. But today we want to touch subject of how we say this now. Music, it starts off with music. How's it going, Minty?
I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, I know, Roger. Go on, you start off the order.
Because earlier in the day you said money,
yeah,
music and ministry.
Yeah.
And that was something I was going to pick up on.
Okay, straight away.
Why was it money first?
Because I had a letter this morning now, Joe.
So that's what you told me, money, music and ministry.
Yeah. So all right then. So straight away, let me just reaffirm what we're trying to achieve here today. We're going to have a discussion now. Myself, you know, I'm a promoter. I've done a few things over the years. For a number of years, I grew up in a system when it was purely live music, and coming to a culture now where everything's backing tracks, everything's different. Not everything's kind of, you know, it's just different way we approach events and a different church culture as well.
Are you showing your age here, Roger?
I mean, our business here. I just look fresh.
You know what I mean? Fresh, man.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm coming from an era, from that sort of era. So I was probably the last of the musician era, but going into the urban rap era and whatsoever. Yeah. Colin is going from, for me, the first generation to really grasp musicianship and take it to a level of outside of church, you know, getting that notoriety going on, and also doing live events right to this very day. Minty, you know, he's come to the events that I've done, crazy events, he's seen what's going on, he loves his live music, he's a musician himself, and we're just going to come with that sort of vibe. We have a discussion, and we're not going to hide away from things that we've been hiding away, or we've seen hidden away all the way from church still. So, you know, we're going to go and kick this off now, and I'm going to just change the vibe in the background. Okay, some tunes here. Before you say, is this gospel in the background? Yes, it is. Yeah, it's from Theory Has It. You know, if you want to download some instrumentals to vibe to, check him out. Theory Has It, and we're just gonna vibe to a couple of his tracks in the background, just to, you know, bed things over. Yeah. But listen, okay. First of all, let me just say this once again: money, music, ministry. Yeah. Can we mix them? Can we separate them? How do we live our life with them? Yeah. So the structure today, guys, is going to be like this. We've got 10 minutes before the first little break we're going to have from whatever, just to get the teaser, get the blood flowing, and then we're going to be going in for an hour and a half about this, because I know it's going to open up enough things anyway. Yeah. So before I even hit things out, where do we start? You know, okay, Colin, right. Coming from back in the day, back of I would say.
Well, what I would say.
Go on, bro.
My brother, he says, why is it that order?
Money, music, ministry. Thank you, Colin.
Now I'm wondering whether. Do you mean it should be the other way around? Do you think it should be ministry, music, and then money.
I don't know. Look, I'm quite analytical, and when Roger dropped me the text, that's the first thing I picked up on. That money was first, so I thought that might be interesting to talk about.
Right.
Okay, guys,
so-
it's not many things I just think. I just went for the hardest one to spell.
What order do you think it should be?
No,
Colin?
what's funny is that's actually the first thing I picked up on as well.
Okay.
So we're on the same lines, but I'm wondering though, is it because we got it in the right order or the wrong order, or?
Well, I don't think there's a right and a wrong order, but if you had done it, what order would you have sent out the text?
Here's the thing. Many years ago, I would have done it back to front. I would have said the ministry,
Yeah,
the music, then the money.
money. Yeah.
But now I might upset a few people here because I know
Upset?
I'm supposed to be a connoisseur in gospel.
Okay.
However, I'm a realist as well, and I actually think that way is actually the right way. And I think in terms of gospel music, it's very difficult to separate gospel music from our culture.
You're getting deep here, Colin.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
just the first 10
Yeah.
minutes.
I know, man. But we said let's go in, man. I'm
let's go.
going in, and
Yeah.
the culture is very influential on our music, and it will be very influential on our discussion as well. So, like I said, many years ago, I would have done that topic the other way around.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I'm realizing that one, some of us are sold out.
Okay. Getting deep here.
Some of us have no understanding whatsoever.
True.
So in the long term, what's happened is gospel has become very fickle.
Okay.
It has no backbone.
Are you suggesting that the message has been watered down because of the money?
No, I'm saying that.
Not saying message, you know.
I'm saying because you didn't have the money, the message has been watered down. Pop music has never gone away, man. Even though back in my day it was top of the pops.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's download, but it's still money orientated. So it's still there. Pop music is still here, and it's still here to stay. You know, you still get your Bruno Mars, you still have your Justin Timberlake, you still have your whoever's singing their songs and then bringing them out and making X amount of monies. Gospel music, however, hasn't even gotten off the floor.
Okay. Now, right. So, see,
But that's because
yeah.
we've done it in the wrong order.
So you know, like how I put it, that order. It's
Yeah.
amazing how you said it. It's
Yeah.
because we probably have gone through similar experiences, but different, obviously, situations, but similar experiences. Realizing that, yeah, it's great putting on amazing events, but the reality of the show is that outside of that, outside of you yourself, the person, and you and God, there's money, there's bills to function to a level which everyone talks about excellence.
Now you see, again,
Okay.
you see, you got me going again because let's think about it. We all love church.
Yeah.
We all go to church.
Amen.
Take away the money aspect from the church, and do you have a church? Let's be real.
What do you mean, Colin?
Is God paying our bills?
What do you mean?
Is God paying our bills?
He's providing. And the church shouted, Amen.
Well, I kind of beg to say, let's look at our churches at the moment. Do they seem to be striving, or do they seem to be diminishing?
Well, you said something quite that resonated with me. That gospel music hasn't even got off the floor. Now, most people might think that's a bad thing, but I think actually it's an area for growth, and it's an opportunity to grow. I see that as a massive positive, if that makes sense.
I agree, and this is why I think I'm in total agreement with Roger's statement, because he said money first, music second, ministry last.
Okay, so So Roger, you've been in music for a while.
Yeah.
Have you made a lot of money in music?
Nope.
So why are you still doing it?
Because I understand why I do it, you know. And I think that something that always, you know, when you do speeches and you run in your mind what you would say, yeah. And some of the main things I would say to people is that when you start to be driven by money, yeah, there's two different things. You know what I'm saying? To have the money to do something and to be driven to make money, two different things. So when you're driven to make money, it corrupts the music and the ministry, yeah. But when you are not driven by the money and driven by what music is, think about it. You're 8 years old, you can sing, you sing in church in front of people. There's no money oriented. You're singing at the purity of your heart. That becomes corrupt because you are driving to go that extra step, you know what I mean? You want to make that money, whatever, and then you start to do everything and anything, and it gets silly, you know. And that's not just from singers, that's from musicians to whatsoever and whatever. So really, everyone's drive once they turn 16, 17, 18 is to make that P. But when I was
Is
younger,
that a bad thing though?
no, but when I was younger, hear the joke now, yeah. Now, looking up to Colin's generation, when I was young, seeing these guys, amazing musicians, yeah, they were going out into the scene already seasoned and mature, yeah. Now, what's happening at the moment right now is that people are so driven by the money that they're going out at the age of 16 as soon as they're allowed to go in these venues. So for me, the lack of maturity, so that's opening up a massive kind of worm there in whatsoever in terms of lack of maturity. But the reality show is it's the drive, yeah. And end of the day story, the reason why I saw the older generation doing it, because it just really had to provide for the families, you know. Because let's reverse, why isn't the church providing for musicians who spend hundreds on gear? Absolutely, not even thousands, you know what I mean? You know, you're talking about amps and backline and everything. Literally, if musicians actually took their gear out of the church, at the back.
Again, not to cut you, but
go
on. Let's take this thing into context. Let's look at successful people, or what the society sort of deems as successful. Let's look at some of the billionaires. Let's look at Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Now, I've read his book. He had a passion for computers, and in the early days, he was begging people to help him out. You know, can you loan me this, loan me that, loan me that. So initially, no, the money shouldn't be the focal point of your passion. Your passion should be there.
Yeah.
However, your passion will drive you, because I'm a big believer in depending on how you work and how hard you focus, you can achieve and be successful, whatever success really means. It can come in monetary value, and I do believe that can happen, because I do know musicians that have done well. Not a lot, but I do know a few that have done well. But economics is something that we, as my culture, I don't really want to say black people, because that's unfair on Africans and Somalians and blah blah blah. But my culture, which is predominantly West Indian, Afro-Caribbean, economics is something of a voodoo sort of topic, or I shouldn't even have said voodoo, but a topic of taboo.
Taboo. That's the word. That's the word. Right. I'm gonna pause you right there. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna hit off with a few little adverts, and then we're gonna go in again. Yeah.
Cause we live it. I'm throwing out the real, so they probably catch your feelings. Give it away now. Nah, that ain't it. I don't feel until I hear them holler. Yes. They ain't even know we was out here. They gon' find out what we bout here. Cause every day we a turn up. All day. Yeah. Lights out cause the sun up. I know you see. And now they know. Now they know. Say now they know. 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 Yeah.
Okay, we are back. The Lift Show, covering up for the Awakening Show, Sister Dana. And we started off the first, I would say half an hour. We went, we touched a few, well, let's just say it out there. Money, music, ministry. And I don't know, people's like, what, yo, money first, what's going on here? And you know, bro, Colin was breaking it down from his perspective why he would originally, younger, say ministry, amen, brethren, ministry, you know what I mean, music, then money. But life, reality, learning, experience has told him to start from money, go to is that, am I covering you right? Or not start, not like that,
no,
kind of
no,
like persuasive,
no,
but, you know,
no.
But money, news, and I got you back here, bro, because
Yeah.
I did hit the title at which Minty did emphasize.
I'm just saying it's a mindset.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a mindset. So not so much whether which order it is, but we have to have a mindset, and our original mindset was ministry first, which would have excluded all types of economics. We have to be into economics first, man.
Yeah. No, and the thing is, something you brought up just before we closed off was the reality show is that within our and I say from myself and yourself, from my Afro-Caribbean culture within the church growing up, which Minty jumped over, but unfortunate, I don't know which way to put it, but again, from my knowledge of what Minty's the church that Minty go, which he can probably bring more to us, is his pastor is a businessman, you know what I mean, a successful businessman from what I can see, and so he's already had that knowledge of that, where we're coming from a perspective of, you know what I mean, serve God, everything goes towards the pastor, and all the other ministry is about voluntary work, you know, which is great.
See, even when you say it, sounds ridiculous.
yeah, I'm saying, well, we grew up around it and actually felt like, you know, because like I do a lot of youth work, and then it's not until you do youth work out in the world and you get paid for doing youth work, and then when you do so much youth work within the church, and it's for the Lord, which is great and fantastic. But the reality of the show is you're dedicating your time and your efforts towards supporting young people in the community local to them. And it's like, for me, it's a case of, do we respect that? But again, let's focus on the subject: money, music, ministry. And Colin, you was about to go into about from your background within Afro-Caribbean churches, how it kind of not really set you up for the right focus.
No, definitely not. So, you know, when you look at the economics of our churches, they seem to be dwindling. And that's because, you know, we've put the money as a taboo subject. It's all about the ministry. You know, and I'm sure people might even say that I've got this wrong, but I'm sure the Bible says, you know, you train the, is it no, something about it's gone from me now, but it'll come back to me. But anyway, basically, you spoil the rod and spare the child, something like that. You never put the church before your child. You must always put your child first. It's like with economics. The economics should come first. Ministry is something you go into. You know what I mean? That we flow into. Nobody's born a minister.
Okay.
No one's born a minister. I don't believe in that. I don't believe you're born a minister. I don't believe you're born a preacher. You know, but these things you learn.
All right.
So that's perfect, Colin, because I've just been sitting here thinking, and I've got people hitting me up on my texts and Twitter.
Cool.
You name it.
All right.
That's good. And it seems as though, to me, there's a lack of education. In our churches. You talked about ministry. Most people who are ministering these days, I mean, Roger touched on it a bit early on, are going into ministry without any education about ministry. And I don't know what your views are, but I don't think there's enough education on music and the business side to music, because there is a business side.
Well, name me something successful that you employ people have no qualifications in. Name me a business that's, you know, Name me a successful business that's
Football.
been. No. No. I hear you. I hear you. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Even if you want to go down the football thing, because again, me and Roger understand the football thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much you're
Yeah,
aware of it.
he's a
but
Liverpool fan,
he's
but
a
so
Liverpool
is
fan. Ooh, well.
yeah, no.
Anyway, the reason why I
Don't
say
know again.
I'm glad you put even football there. And I'm not going to really change the subject, but if you remember, football in Britain didn't really change until you had a clever guy called Arsene Wenger, and he came in. Remember, he came in and he changed the whole ethics of football. And that's the truth. I'm an Arsenal fan as well, but you know,
We'll
for
be
my
praying
sins.
for you.
But what I'm saying is that you know the likes of Man United benefited from the likes of Arsene Wenger because with the French connection with Eric Cantona, and you know you look at the French connection with even Newcastle and all these great teams.
Yeah.
The French connection was good because there was a mindset. There was a very educated man, because he wasn't just a football coach. This is the guy who is a economics in he got economics in economics. He's got a degree in economics. In itself. So this is the guy now who's now coming to football. Yeah, and you can see the effects now British football has now in the world, because now the Premiership, whether it's the best or not the best, it's the most lucrative now.
So are you saying, Colin, and are you agreeing with me that there is not enough education on issues about?
Totally agree with you.
You know,
totally agree with you,
the
man.
business side to ministry,
Yeah.
the business side to music,
Yeah.
and even how to manage money once you make it.
But let me throw.
Let's just say. Let's just say. Sorry.
Go for.
Let's just say
Go.
a multi-millionaire came to church.
Yeah.
How are you going to manage him?
Pay tithes. Anyway, sorry.
No, what if he does a Starbucks and say, I ain't paying tithes. I'm providing money for some of your employees. That I'm providing jobs for your employees. He does a Starbucks and say, well, I'm employing 235 people in your church.
If you came
Why
to
do I
my
need to pay
church,
tithes?
came to my church, would say, "Welcome to the Billionaires Club. You can learn from us."
You've got me there. However, the norm is not the case. You know?
Yeah.
How do you educate somebody?
So are we supposed to identify people like those millionaires in churches and ask them to be part of the education process and teach our 8-year-olds who are passionate about music? You said, you know, you often have passion, and that passion develops, and often without a structured program of developing it. Suddenly these kids are making a lot of money in music and they're not mature enough. Are we supposed to identify key influential people in the world of economics to help develop our kids and the ministry side?
Well, how many times have you heard children in churches that have a dream, and somebody cuts that dream down? Oh, you can't do music, you can't do football, you can't do cricket, you can't do this, you can't do that. But it's okay to be a nurse, it's okay to strive to be a doctor, it's okay to be a manager, a supervisor of what? How many people have been cut down for being artistic?
Well, it's funny you say that.
Right. I want to curveball this, because I don't want the not so much the audiences. I think I totally agree in terms of a economic viewpoint, but I think I want to put it out there is that somebody who's a millionaire has an understanding of money more than what we think. I think we are more scared about having loads of money than a millionaire. A millionaire is prepared to lose everything and get it back because they understand that money goes and money comes, and genuinely why they are so successful is because they understand that today you can have $1 million, lose $1 million tomorrow, and get up to 10 million. It's just about understanding processes and whatsoever. And I think we get scared of it. But also, what we need to realize is that it's what music and being creative does for you. And I think that what I've seen over the years is creative minds within the church format being funneled into this. I said to somebody the other day, when I watch the church and how we function in terms of when I say the church, I said my experience of church. Your personal churches out there, you may have a great setup, that's fantastic, but I'm talking about generalization. Everyone hates me generalizing, but the reality show is you have to do that sometimes. And I feel that in church there's only 2 creative paths you can have, which is spoken word or being part of the praise and worship team. Now, spoken word is basically a great preacher and motivator. So we have great preachers, teachers, and whatsoever, which are, for me, spoken word artists. Yeah, who can get words, tongue twist everybody, convince everybody who come into the church. Somebody could be one to commit suicide, come into church, and through his motivational speaking and entwining with the word, they don't want to. They're motivated not to kill themselves. That's great motivation. Music, which is in terms of musicianship, in terms of being a musician or a singer, anything outside of that, you know what I mean, you don't fit within our model of success. And that, as for me, with doing GL, has been something I'm thinking, hey up, what about the poets? What about the certain other skills and crafts, the people who can draw, the people who enjoy this other element, producers, just the guy behind the mixing desk, you know what I mean, has a passion of just getting the mix right. All these things add to, it's a creative thing. Now, if you just lock them off, put them in a box, they get frustrated. And let's be honest now, there's an epidemic now of mental health issues in and outside the church. And I believe that creativity and sports has a major part taking these things away from people. So it's not just a case of economic. Me just wanting to do GL and helping people is and being creative, not so much helping people, but being creative through my skills, through videoing and whatsoever, helps my creativity to be exercised. But if I lock down my creativity, cut it off, and then become a worker day in, day out, just slumping there, I'll tell you what, actually I went to watch a film, Disney film, Moana, with my goddaughter. No, don't worry, guys.
It's cool, Rog. We understand.
Moana. And then before Moana, there was a little short. Was it like them little short Disney things that they're doing now at the beginning? And it had a guy who was there grumpy, going to work every single day. And for me, that is us. A lot of us, if we're not creatively engaged, yeah. And I always encourage people. It says, yes, go to work and do your thing, but be creatively engaged. So if you're not going to want to be financially successful, but still, when you put an album out, you're still going to need some money that you've put aside to understand. You need to how to use the money within ministry.
So there's got to be a balance, hasn't there, Roger?
This is it.
You know, if you're going to do music, yes, it's got to motivate you to want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then if it's not adding up the pounds and the pennies,
Yeah.
and the ministry,
Yeah.
then it's not, there's got to be a balance, surely.
And wise advice. I got told one time years ago when my wife was, I think it was her first EP, and the radio presenter said to me, he said to me, oh yeah, nice put it. But he said to me, what you need to do now is go to Dark Child in America and ask him to do a beat for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, hold on a second, G. That's 40G, yeah? So where am I going to find 40 grand? So he's asking me to find 40 grand, yeah? And get the track so he can play it on radio.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that does not make economical sense at all. So for me, it's a case of going, hold on a second, just because I had that economical sense in my brain to say that doesn't make, but I'm afraid that some people have made maneuvers within the music world which doesn't make economic sense and end up being burnt at the end of it, just because of poor advice.
Yeah. Go out and buy a house now. This is, everybody has to do it at some point, or
Yeah.
get property of some sort. What, you're just gonna take anything that you've been from? You're just gonna take anything that someone says to you? That house is worth £100,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just go to the property and you might even be able to just look at the property and know it's not worth 100,000. What am I paying a mortgage on this for?
Yeah.
Come on, man, we always need advice. And even the property that looks £100,000, you're still gonna get a surveyor out who's gonna tell you, well, actually, it's not really worth it because, you know, there's a few things that I found.
Yeah.
You know, we're not economically qualified. We have no skills. The market is really terrible in terms of understanding of the whole economics and the way life is. I think, especially from my culture, we have no understanding how life is.
So
and then when you get people now that kind of have to, well, I wouldn't say they're forced to leave. It's just inevitable that they're just going to leave.
Yeah.
And then they see things, you know, much more lucrative.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to go, innit?
Yeah.
You know, what's going to stop them?
And the thing is, for me, it's real sad that that at the moment now, growing up now, I'm watching within, I would say, churches now growing up. You used to have like 4 or 5 bands. You had bands playing different bands for every Sunday in almost every single church. You had no problem finding musicians. Now, people are coming up to me right now and saying to me, "Yo, I need a musician, need musicians." Growing up, that wasn't an issue. Now we've got musicians out there doing everything, doing great work, and when it comes to investing it back where they come from, they're not doing it. And I think that, so there's a massive problem here. And I'm looking at, guys, in the second half of the show, yes, we're going to look at this subject, but also when I see of looking at from a selfish perspective of Birmingham, yeah. And I'm look at Birmingham, and we've seen the mistakes, we've seen the foundation, that why it couldn't go to another level. Because for me, how many musicians do I have to see on TV and say, "Oh yeah, I know you." It literally, I would say, in the late 90s, going into the into 2000, literally every top of the pops, you could say, "Oh yeah, I know him, I know her." And straight to this day, it's not with no get true artists, with top artists around the world. And as much as that's great to see, but I'm not seeing that quality on stage in my local church. And
are
not
you
my fault.
suggesting, Roger, that the churches should be paying what these top artists are paying to keep our talent in Birmingham?
Now, something I would say to you now, yeah. I actually, I'm not quoting for all of them. I know there's some genuine guys that says they don't really want to go out and go out and do loads of piece work. They rather have less. It's not about the money. They want to have enough to just have a cool life and dedicate themselves. But because of economics, they're having to use what they have.
So are you saying churches should be paying musicians? I mean, I wouldn't mind maybe on a little fee to play drums at church on Sunday.
You should be paying musicians. That's without a doubt.
At church on a Sunday for ministry.
The Bible says, and I'm quoting scripture. So if people want to say that I'm speaking on my own behalf, I'm not speaking on my own behalf.
Mm-hmm.
The scripture says you can't serve 2 masters. You can't be.
Go deeper.
Well,
I'm like,
which master's gonna win? Which master's gonna win? The guy who's paying your bills, or the guy who ain't paying your bills? Which master's gonna win the race?
Do you think?
I mean, it's got to the stage where even our musicians, even though they'll play on a Sunday, but if work calls them in, it's an extra day you pay you. If you're coming on Sunday,
but then here's the thing, Colin.
Mm-hmm.
Can our churches here in Birmingham afford?
Yes, they can.
To keep up with
can.
what?
Come on, man. See, this you see, this is the same old argument we have for years.
We're shaping up for the second hour.
Let me show you something. Let me show you something in economics, man.
Yeah.
Let me show you something in economics. And this is a proven, tested survey. Tesco, one of the biggest supermarkets in Britain, Asda, one of the other competitors, Co-op, Sainsbury's, the majority of their money is coming from black folk. We are the poorest in terms of wealth in this country, yet we make up over 60% of their profits.
So are you suggesting that black churches have a lot of cash?
It's how people are using. It's how
in
you
Birmingham.
use. If you know how to use money, as I says, if you're going back to economics. If you know how to use money, I'm sure if people knew where their money was going, if it was accountable, of course you could play musicians. Of course you can.
And you know what? Still, I'm like this now. I always say to people, you got to invest. Like Minty, you in terms of businesses, the investment is part of a plan. It's part of the makeup. It's part of what happens. Now, I see music ministry as part of your. For me, because a lot of the guys who do music can do youth work, can do the training, can do the teaching, keeping young people in the community engaged. Say if you had drumming schools every week and you pay the musician who plays the drums on a Sunday, does schoolwork, and doing what we should be doing for the community and not hoarding up our money and saying...
This is my problem.
Okay,
Roger.
cool.
Here's where my problem comes in.
All right, then. We've got to go to the news in a second, but go on, say your problem.
If I'm getting paid to play drums at church, what happens the day I think the church is not paying me enough? Do I stop? And is it genuinely out of my heart, or am I playing for the money now?
See, that's for me is down to people's hearts and whatever. It's like, you know, when you look at footballers, yeah, some of them will stay at the club, you know, like Ryan Giggs and so on, like they'll stay at the club and whatever, but then some man's will just jet enough and go and pay for the money. That's life, you know what I mean? And money comes in. But the thing is, one thing I know about when it comes to God and music, God, and I might just say it out here in the radio, is that no one is irreplaceable. Yeah, so the moment you get high up on it and you think you're nice, yeah, Satan himself got high up on himself, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I mean, no one is replaceable, starting from me, you, everybody there still, yeah. But
this second half is
listen,
gonna be good,
you know what I'm
man.
saying? So we're gonna
I'm coming for that one, bro.
listen. We got I'm trying to get the news here, and it looks like it's making a interesting noise here, but we'll keep on talking. Let me see.
It will never get put back.
Okay, news here, guys.
Like you finna die. Mr. Hashtag rapper, Mike Brown, Trayvon. Only time you promote peace is when they die. It lasts about a week, then it's back to the straps. Cause your contract came with a stack and some KY. Poisonous raps like crack in the pot. Major labels like
Okay. Everyone can hear me good and proper. That is from God Over Money. You know, their cypher track and the Bizzle track, there's coming some hardcore like lyrics straight there in your face.
That title, man.
I bet they're making a lot of money off that.
Oh, you know what? I won't say they are, but you know what? To be honest, they are God Over Money. The actual group is like, I think for me, it's like a not rebellion, but you know when everything's getting a bit too commercial within the gospel system, yeah. Right. For almost saying like, you know, let's just get this right now, because in gospel hip hop, you couldn't make no money from it, so it's really evangelical. And then all of a sudden, when everything gets money and big things start going and people getting driven, I'll do that show if you get paid this amount and whatsoever. Where for me, urban music is evangelical, and we need to keep it there, you know. And these guys are keeping it hardcore. I believe they do get paid, but at the same time, they're just putting out music out there, showing their heart, keeping it real, not doing no pretty lyrics, going straight there and going for the kill. Was that a little bar to stop there?
Yeah, man. Make a lot of money off that.
Yeah, I'm saying I might just extend that beat and just drop some bars. And I'm gonna introduce an element to the show called Roger and Bars. You know what I'm saying? Roger's Bars, man. You just say, yeah, I don't know about my flow. You gotta go. But anyway, so that's it.
No. Anyway, listen.
Okay, go for it.
I've got a comment here.
Okay, go for it, bro.
So my cousin Smokes, we call him.
Smokes.
Don't ask why.
In our culture, if you call someone Smokes, it's not very good.
Nah, he doesn't smoke.
Okay,
his surname just
okay.
translated.
Okay.
Anyway, Smokes is listening from home.
Cool.
And he says, a possible solution to the economic problem is a definite plan of purpose to equip the youth. Now, I know you're trying to put something similar with GL360.
Yeah.
Aren't you, Roger?
Yeah.
Almost like an academy. And it's going back to what we're talking about the education and empowering people who come raw with just a passion and equipping them to be industry leaders, I suppose.
No, 100%. And I think, you know, as Smokes was saying there, I think there's definitely a drive, and the problem that I have, and this is from my personal experience, is that I can't do it within the church boundaries. Because the moment I do underneath a church, they want it for themselves, yeah. So to having to do it off your own back is not easy, you know, because you have to come and step outside of the safety of churches. Because, you know, we mentioned earlier today, Minty, about naturally churches don't invest in things unless you do it within their four walls, yeah.
And their rules.
And their rules and their regulations and whatsoever.
And policies.
And when we got 50 youngsters, you've seen it when we do GL. Up to 50 youngsters, and literally you're talking about 25 to 30 different churches within that. Now, to get a church to invest into that single church, you ain't gonna get that, you know. So I hear what Smokes is saying, and that's what we're trying to get to the stage of being independent. But the reality show is we're not in the world. We're almost in no man's land, and it's very, very hard because you know what I'm saying, because there's no independent businessman to say, you know what,
I'm gonna go Bible again, man.
Okay, go on.
That's what I'm gonna do. Being as we're talking ministry,
yeah,
and we're talking church,
and money.
And music. I keep having to quote scripture.
Yeah.
And you see, there was a set of people that were told, you're the talented one, man. You're actually my chosen people. I love you, blah, blah, blah. Love you, man.
Yeah.
And these people were given a part of land called Canaan. God said, that's yours, man. Take it, man.
Yeah.
And that man, they were like, really? Yeah, it's yours. 40 years, man. A 4-day journey took them 40 years, man. At what point did they not realize they were going around in circles? You know, you see how ridiculous this sounds, man.
But Colin, you said something to me in the break.
Yeah, man.
You suggested.
Yes.
Oh Lord.
and my boy Roper, who's in the studio as well, suggested.
Big up Roper.
That big up Roper. I am
Yes.
Roper official. Single coming out 2017.
Singer, worshipper,
Singer, songwriter,
rapper,
lawyer, you name
keyboardist, second keyboardist. Yeah.
He's learning guitar.
He's talking to me about
learning
bass.
guitar. He's learning guitar.
Okay. He's one of them guys, them over, Michael Jackson's of gospel. But anyway,
When you
go.
see his high top, you can't miss him. Anyway, we were having a little chat, Roger, and the suggestion was made. I'm not going to say by who.
Go.
That this is the whole economic issue in churches and all this is actually a racial issue. Someone suggested.
No, I'm put my hand up, man.
Someone
It was
suggested.
Me. It was me. And like
Someone
I said,
suggested
I didn't even
that
say
the white
racial.
churches seem to have got it right.
No, let me clarify. Let me clarify. It's not necessarily a racial
I'm just looking
thing.
for some water.
Sorry, is the word cultural?
Culture.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
culture. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I can't say this on behalf of my Somalian brothers who have come to this country for the last 5 years and own shops and own businesses.
Yeah.
They're doing quite well.
Yeah,
I
brilliant.
can't say this on behalf of my Nigerian brothers
And Zimbabwe.
and Zimbabwe brothers that have come over and are running parts of London, man. I can't talk on their behalf. I can only talk of my own culture, and I say it's predominantly West Indian, Afro-Caribbean people. How ironic that these people who are not economically educated are the ones that are economically struggling in life. We're at the bottom of society. Let's go to the Forbes rich list. Not that, that any of us are there, but you will find a Nigerian
Oh,
there.
you need to check again. You'll probably see me.
No, I'm sure you will be there one day, brother.
Amen to that.
I wouldn't mind
Amen.
being there myself.
Yeah.
But you will find Nigerians there, and you will find a few African guys there. I haven't seen no Afro-Caribbean mans there. Now that can't suggest to me that there's no Afro-Caribbean businesses in Jamaica. Does that suggest that there's no, apart from Jay-Z, there's no African-American businessmen in the whole world? Come on, man. Now it's a culture. There's a cultural mindset that we're struggling with, and it's to do with economics. We don't understand economics, so we don't understand the economics. We're gonna struggle. You can't. Like I said, Tesco. In terms of actual money, we have the least money coming in our families. However, we're making Tesco's,
The biggest
Asda. We're the biggest spenders. So when you talk to me about can we
Colin,
pay our musicians, of course we can.
Are there any churches of a different culture to yours that you know of? I mean, you're more in the musical circles than I am. That are paying.
I mean, I'm gonna.
Let's talk Birmingham.
I'm gonna.
How many churches in
I'm
Birmingham
gonna do a
are you
shout out
aware
to
of?
my minister,
Okay.
Okay.
Patrick Campbell,
Is he paying?
House of Praise Ministries. Now, I'm not going. I hope I don't upset the church brethren because they may not know this. So I'm hoping one day either not listening.
They're not listening.
We'll send
Hopefully
them a
they're not
copy.
listening.
Send them a copy.
You know what I mean?
But he's going on YouTube though. But anyway.
I'm hoping that they're not listening. But what I would say is me and Patrick, we sit down and he understands the necessity musicians require.
Yeah.
So I go to House of Praise Ministries, not just making a plug, but he makes sure that the musicians are looked after.
Okay.
Now
Are they looking for drummers?
no, because he looks after the musicians. And you see, there lies
Yeah.
the answer to a problem, as Roger was saying. It's called investment. You see, when you invest in people, which church do you know that's going to be successful if the music's not right, man?
Yeah.
You get the music right and people are going to come to your church. Yeah. So you invest in getting good musicians, or the best you can get.
Yeah.
Invest in them.
Are you aware of any other churches in the Midlands, in Birmingham, that are doing the similar
No.
kind of?
But the thing is, what I would say though, I mean, is like, now, guys, I'm a hometown Birmingham. If you check out my Instagrams and whatever, there's still the pictures I put up there. A shout out to at GR360 Media on Instagram, at GR360 on Twitter, you know, all the rest of the stuff anyway. But if you check me out, I'm always hashtag Birmingham. I'm passionate about Birmingham. But the reality is that there's not many strong churches in Birmingham. When I say strong churches in Birmingham, I'm talking about not just watching numbers, but making an impact in the community. As much as you go down London, every square yard, there's impacts all over the place. And I feel that Birmingham we're the second biggest city in the UK, but you know, give or take 100 people with Manchester, yeah. But when I look to Manchester, we're doing a lot more things than in Birmingham. Now, hopefully as pastors listening to this show or watching this on YouTube and hearing my shout out and my cry, and listen guys, yeah, stop sitting on the money that you have, yeah. You know, if you say on Sunday God is coming soon and you're holding everything in your back pocket, I'm not saying to throw all your money out there, I'm just saying to invest wisely. Now, if I was a businessman looking at the church, I would say, how can I bring people here? Yeah, what do I need to invest into bringing people here? I need to somehow bring people in. So you know what, I'm going to invest into evangelism, into the youth, into, you know, this is not about...
Colin got it. It said the music.
But for me, it's with the music, it brings in the youth. Now, I grew up listening to Andre Crouch. Yeah. And now Colin can bear me witness on that this year. I weren't actually old enough to actually see him in concert, but you know, literally 76 he came to London. You know what I'm saying? He's an amazing musician. His music, if you listen to his music now, it was so far ahead of everybody else. But I don't know if Colin's pastor was like this, but I heard some of the pastors within Colin's old church banned them from going to see up-to-date music.
Jesus is the answer. That's the songs that he made famous. Jesus is the answer.
Yeah.
And then
What's
your
the
ministers
question?
are telling you not to go. Now that's a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
That's a lack of wisdom.
Yeah.
It's a lack of understanding. Now, when you use the word investment, you have to invest in the youth. You can't. No disrespect to our old folk, but you can't invest in old folk. You know what I mean? Those two words don't go together. You know what I mean? Like I says, when you go to, again, I'll go back to my scripture that I didn't finish. You know, God said to these chosen people, that's your land.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Now listen to me. They were young people at the time, but because they didn't get the vision, 40 years they were going around and think about it. So even if a man was 20 years of age, just getting the vision from God, he didn't reach that till he was 60. And even then, God had to wipe him out anyway, because even when they got to the place, man was saying, oh, but these giants, man, these giants are here to kill us. Can you imagine God going, man, send him around again. Let's send him around again, man. You see what I'm trying to say? You have to invest in the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the moment, what I like about Roger and people of his mindset is that one thing, okay, my cousin, I'll bring in my cousin and big up to Rance Peters. He's the guy that knows the things that I don't know. And I know literally everything.
My word.
Yeah. Now he knows the things that I don't know.
Yeah.
He was my hip hop man. So all the things I didn't know about hip hop, he educated me on. Now, what I learnt about hip hop and there are books out there, you know. So there's people that have written books on this, you know. So it's not like I'm making it up. What I like about hip hop is that it created its own entity. It didn't copy the Beatles. They didn't copy Bob Marley. They didn't copy Beyonce, which is cool.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with copying Bob Marley, the Beatles. They created their own music. So they created their own types of producers, their own types of engineers. They created a market for themselves.
Yeah.
Let's look at hip hop music. Is it not the biggest selling music in the world? Bar none.
And it's only 40 years old, 30 years old.
Does it transcend culture?
Yep.
Which young person isn't into hip hop? Go on, tell me. Which culture? You go to Asia, man. Them man, they're loving this stuff up.
Yeah.
You go to England, these mans are loving it up.
Yeah.
You know, so these people, you invest. Imagine the person that invested in Jay-Z. He's laughing now. He's gonna be laughing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the time, imagine it. Oh, Jay-Z, don't get into hip hop. That's not even music. No, but he's creating something. See, what I like about you, Rog, is that it's about creativity, not copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've copied. So, for example, I'm a bass player, so I've copied to be like some of the great bass players. That's what I copied to do, and nothing's wrong with that. Roger's in the field of, he's also in the field of creativity, but he's part of the youth, the 80s youth that created hip hop, which is a brand new entity within itself.
Yeah.
20 years ago, there was no mention of hip hop. There was mention of music, but there was no mention of hip hop.
Yeah.
Hip hop in itself has now taken over the worldwide because certain youth have been creative, and created an entity within itself. And look how big it is. Look how powerful it is.
And you know what? You're talking about hip hop. I was quite inspired. I watched these programs on Netflix about hip hop, the history of hip hop.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see people like Grandmaster Flash and all these guys now. Yeah, they're still alive today to see what they started.
Fruits,
you know, and
yeah.
it was a case of them, as you said, not copying. At the time, it was disco, and disco was big thing, big massive thing. You know, people will book out big live production and everything, like major thing. But these guys just did their own thing, and it's about bringing across a message. And this is what I'm saying to a lot of young people here who are scared about a message. Listen, hip hop, early days till this day, true hip hop is about a message of what people are going through. Now, if you're telling me that being creative over different platforms and music is not about bringing across a message, it's just about conforming, then it's not music for me. It's not creativity, you know. And it becomes commerciality, becomes popular music. So for me, we can create something which is fresh, new, and just about a message. And you can say yes about Jesus Christ. Will it be successful? As Colin said, we talked about Andre Crouch. I go to Apple Music, who's got Apple Music, yeah? Put Andre Crouch then and listen to some of his songs. You know, we sing them in church today, and you know, this blatant gospel songs, and you mean to tell me that we was told not to go there just because of the style of music? You know, and I had that when I used to go to Shekinah Sounds, when they first did the reggae sound system kind of club vibe and whatever, when I was about 18, 19. Oh, don't go there because they're playing urban music at the time, and had to make their own rhythms on the reggae and things like that. So it's too worldly and whatever. And we need to get over this. That the reality show is that Fanny Crosby, she was basically shunned because her music is pop music, and now we sing her hymns like crazy.
Yeah, but that's what happens with time. Things change over time. Nothing stays the same, as the great song says.
Yeah.
People's, you know, one time you couldn't wear. Imagine you had to have a certain way of dressing when you go to church.
Yeah.
Those things are foolishness, man. You know what I mean? Jesus. My understanding of people that live in that part of the world, they don't even wear trousers. So, what if Jesus was to come back today? That man's wearing trousers, man. He's worldly. He's wearing a shirt and tie. Who wears a shirt and tie?
So coming back to the discussion now.
Go on.
Money, music, and ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Of the three,
Yeah.
would you say they're all as important as each other?
balance.
Is one more important than the other? Do we put them in
Okay,
a
we're coming
particular
up to a break now. Yeah, we're coming to the break in the last half. Yeah, let's just deal with the importance of them. So I'm gonna pose it out there, and we're gonna break this down. We've talked a lot about the money element and the importance of knowledge of money, but
I think
also
that in itself, there's something about the fact that we've spent
so much on it.
so
It's
much time on money.
because you know what, it's not being touched. That's why we're going in about it, because it's not touched. But let's look at the music element of it, the musicality of it. Listen, I'm sick or tired of seeing worship teams sing out a tune in front of me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So there's got to be an excellence within musicality. Don't go, like I said, I don't mind you going off and on there and whatever, yeah, but when you go into church and you're like this, your face is like that, like, what just happened here?
What
you
church
know,
was that,
you know,
Roger?
what's that?
What church was that?
Well, I can name a couple, you know. But you're saying, you know, when they sing, when they try a harmony for the first time, and it's just totally. I'm not saying that you can't make mistakes on stage, but I'm saying the music element is important, and obviously the ministry, which is not only your conduct on stage, but actually your ministry is what you conduct off stage. Yeah, which is important as well. But we're gonna flag up them things afterwards. But ministry and music, we're gonna flag up in the last half an hour. But we're gonna go in for the breaks right now. Break right now. Play a track, and we're back in for the last half.
This is so disappointing, but I know you hold me down for real.
Okay, that was dedicated for Roper. Loving off the tunes. Ashley Cole. That's all. I'm thinking too much. It's your fault, you know. Ashley Cole business. Aaron Cole, and the track called "Disappointed." Sorry. I am a Man United fan, and just saying that was like, whoa, it actually hurt my stomach there. But anyways, listen, as Aaron Cole, so just enjoy the vibes there from Aaron Cole. We've been playing some hardcore hip hop, so I thought we just soften down the blow, because it's getting a bit late now, so you know we're gonna take time on everyone. But now, before the subject, just for the ones who just coming in now, we're talking about money, music, ministry. Yeah, and I got my brother here, Colin Peters. Got my brother here, Manalta, and we're looking at just discussing, and we've been having a good time discussing. Now we spent a lot of time talking about economics, about the money element.
Yeah. And
for me now, and my wife always moans about this. Yeah, when she switches on TV and sees and goes to churches, it's more as a singer, she's got more of a pet, you know what I mean? Shout out to D Moore. She got more of a issue when people go out there and they can't even sing the tune properly, yeah, you know, and it's almost an offense to her, you know. And this is the importance of being good at your craft, you know.
But
go on,
Rog.
Go on.
If I'm singing to God,
yeah,
in church,
I know you're gonna go with these routes.
I'm singing to God,
yeah,
ministering,
mm-hmm,
and I can't sing,
yeah,
but it's coming from the bottom of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that?
You and me, Colin.
What's wrong with that?
Well, you see, from a novice point of view, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with a man singing out of tune.
Nah.
But like I said, listen how ridiculous it's sounding.
So are you saying when it comes to ministry,
yeah,
even ministry must be perfect? It must be vetted.
We're not saying perfect. You're going extreme now.
Okay, it must be vetted. So are you saying I'm not allowed to minister in my church until I'm past a certain point of aptitude?
All right, I'm gonna go to GR360. Yeah. Now, admittedly, there's okay rappers, there's good rappers, and there's fantastic rappers that we work with. There's good singers, okay singers, but singers that may need a bit of auto-tuning in a studio situation, but they're great performers and whatsoever. So you got to realize there's a span of gifting which transcends. You're gonna have not so great gifts, but amazing in terms of studio work, but they're amazing on stage. So you gotta have a balance in terms of what approaches, and also you gotta realize that people do develop.
But Rog, you're talking GL. I'm talking church on Sunday. You walk into my church on Sunday,
and people singing out of tune.
It's me.
Yeah.
I'm singing out of tune, but it's from the bottom of my heart.
Okay, I will say you're not serious. You know, I think these guys are not serious.
But I say this.
Yeah.
I say this.
Go on.
Look, I'm African.
Yeah.
You know, I just come back from Africa 2 days ago.
Cool.
And
part of
visit
Africa? Which part?
Zimbabwe.
Oh, wow.
You know. That,
Respect
hence the
to
tan. Hence the tan.
No, brother. I love it, man.
So I visit a lot of African churches,
Yeah.
and we're not the most gifted in terms of
Singing. Oh no, you go.
not singing. Singing came from Africa. I'll have you know.
Yeah, because humans came from Africa. But anyway, let's go there.
But you know, I mean,
Yeah.
I've visited Roper's church, and they're very good at the
Oh,
singing
yeah.
side. You
Yeah,
know,
phenomenal. I've
they
been there.
teach things like you sing in parts, and then you know your harmonies and all this.
No,
but
they're brilliant.
I've visited a lot of African churches who have left their traditions to become, you know, or their culture to sing stuff that we hear from America and stuff,
Oh,
but
you
they
see.
can't quite replicate it the same.
See,
Okay,
you
cool.
see.
So you see me now,
This is
I'm
why
in church on Sunday
This is what I'm saying to
trying
you.
to sing.
The problem is
We're trying to do something else.
that you see, creative people create.
Yeah.
If you're gonna copy, then you copy,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't. A
Karaoke?
photocopier doesn't. Okay.
Do perfect copy.
Yeah. That photocopy has to be the same in it. So when you print A, that next copy's got to have A in the same place, the same.
Same
It can't be
size
any
and
same
everything.
size, the same everything. So what I'm saying, and no disrespect to whether it's African churches or not, because I don't play that game, man. I love African churches, man. Seriously, because they sing their culture, and that's how they sing, and that's how it goes. If I'm going into that vicinity, I must play to their rules. So if that's the way it's sung, then that's the way I must sing.
but this is not what I'm
No,
saying,
but what
Colin.
I'm saying that when you come into when we say church in England, see the dynamics change, because what we're really talking about is Pentecostal churches. And let's be honest, we're really talking Pentecostal churches. So when you say the black church, we're really talking Pentecostal church, and this is what I'm trying to say. We have to be careful in identifying the word black and really stick to culture. Because in terms of black churches, every black church has their own way of doing things. So an African church will have its way of doing things. But when you talk, sorry, I don't mean to.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Sorry, man.
You're
I
going
do
in.
talk
Go
a lot.
deeper.
I must, confess that. But when when Roger's predominantly speaking about people singing out a tune, that's really people that are coming into a Pentecostal environmental, or even a Hillsong's environment, where that's how Western music goes.
Yeah.
So when you're singing the harmony to G, not coming off funny, funny vibe, man.
But
You
this is what I'm
harmonize the
saying.
G.
But
Don't.
this is my question now, Colin.
Mhm.
You come into my church on Sunday and
Yeah.
I'm singing, and it's from the bottom of my heart,
Yeah,
and I'm not harmonizing to G
yeah.
when I'm supposed to be. Is that wrong?
No,
Should I not be worshipping
But the thing
God?
is, this is what I'm saying. It's not wrong. I wouldn't say it's
Should
not
I
about.
not be
It's,
ministering,
it's
Roger?
not wrong or right, because you have to bring things into context. Now, if you sang a song and it's part of your testimony, and you come into a situation. But for me, when it comes to it's okay talking about excellence this and excellence that and whatsoever, but for me it's a case of there's got to be at least a baseline of a bit for me ability, when not even ability, if you're not good enough, practice. You know what I'm saying? Work on things you don't
But
automatically.
before I practice, Roger,
Yeah.
you come and you hear me. I mean, I know there's a church very, very close to your studio that you hear every Wednesday night.
Yeah. That's like, what's going on there? But I'm into this, yeah. If God called you to do something, yeah, why can't, before you run up stage, listen, everyone looks at Paul and talks so greatly about Paul, but when he found Christ in all his dramatic situation, he went away and studied before he hit the road, yeah. And we always take away the fact that, you know what, why can't we prepare? And this is when
must I be?
Right, hear this. You just realise that Tripoli, we're all raving about Tripoli at the beginning of the show and saying how it's great tracks. Do you realise he had to sit down for 3 years underneath Reach Records, not produce a track, but develop his art, his mentality, his content and whatever? And that's one thing that we don't do in music. is actually, it's called sit down, shut up, and actually learn the art before you even hit the stage. We're too busy dash everybody onto stage. So musically, and I always look at people like Bruno Mars, yeah? If I put my fingers in my ears, press mute on the TV, I'm going, I want what he's selling. When you do that to our worship teams and in churches, and if I press mute, I'm like,
you mean presentation now?
Presentation,
energy, presentation.
It's part of the whole music thing in terms of talent.
Okay.
Whatever. I'm like this when I'm looking at Bruno Mars, and I say it's extreme. I'm not saying everyone to do this. I'm looking, oh my goodness, these guys are they're projecting us something that they're convinced about. And when I got someone going like this, standing there, slouch shoulders, and just singing a nice song, they're not. All these things are important, but you can't do this on the job. You got to prepare. You got to talk to people with experience and talk about these things. So for me,
so are you saying I'm not allowed to minister until I reach a certain level?
Not. Is level the word, or would you say stand? I don't know. Because I feel level.
Like I says, my thing is this, and I ain't gonna move, man. I don't care what you want to do with your ministry. It's everyone's ministry is. Listen, man. I know people. I'm sure we've watched the X Factor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's people on there that are convinced they can sing. They are. They're convinced they can sing. They're going on that audition, and then man, they made their mind up. I think I can win this X Factor. However, that's not reality. You know, I just deal with reality. I'm not saying that you can't worship God. You get me? But in a responsible position, then no. You have somebody that's more responsible that can get across the excellence. Because, you know, if something's out of key and you're singing not in tune with something else, yeah, it's sincere. You know, and, you know...
Does God reject it?
No, God doesn't reject it. But
So
I will.
why should we?
But I will.
Why?
Because I'm human.
Yeah, for real.
So I don't,
Yeah.
you know, I don't see beyond your faults. I see your faults.
You point them out.
And I point them out.
But then again, you guys are looked after.
Well, you know, that's because I strive for that, and I've, you know, again, I've grown up with parents that were very strict. I mean, my parents didn't encourage me to play guitar. They were part of the coup to stop me from playing. However, they weren't strong enough.
Yeah.
You know, I had a desire, and that desire was going to work for me, because I was never going to be happy unless I'm doing what I want to do. You know, I mean, I went through a lot of stuff in life to come to this conclusion that I'm going to do what I want to do. And when I realized that I was good at it, I tried to be excellent at it. Now, for me to represent now church, I know that I've got to be at a certain level, because you're competing with your secular people. You know, again, it's like with going back to the economics. How do you as a minister manage a billionaire when you yourself have no qualifications in you don't even understand money? How do you manage a billionaire? He's not going to listen to you. Eventually he's going to leave your congregation. Yeah, he's going to eventually leave and maybe set up his own congregation. And it's the same, just the principle's the same.
When it comes to ministry,
it's no difference.
Is that when we got people who are excellent in their craft, and when everyone's just saying slapdash on stage musically, people do get frustrated and says.
But how ironic, Rog? How ironic! It's all in line with our church diminishing.
Yeah,
we've got second-rate singers.
Yeah.
Let's put things in line. Yeah. If we were to have a bar chart, decline of church, decline of musicians, you'd see the same. You see the same things happening. Yeah. All parallel.
Yeah.
Just coming back onto that point about not being ready. I mean, I do wear different hats just for the sake of the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's
so
fine.
I'm going to switch over to the other side now.
Cool.
And come with some scripture.
Right, I gotta use
Roper
this.
said.
I gotta use this word. We're gonna come down. We've got about 5-6 minutes left.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's checking out. Go on.
Roper's just pointed out to me
Go on.
that Jesus was being prepared for 30 years before he
There you
started.
go, man.
David,
David.
probably a similar amount of time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Shepherd. He's
so
learned
if you're
his
going to be in
craftsmanship.
ministry, you need to have gone through your training.
Yeah.
Yep.
And often your training is not on the battlefield killing Goliath, but actually out with the sheep,
Yeah.
fighting the lions and the bears.
And that's my problem with the young people that today's young people, is that when I'm saying ultimately one of the greatest young guys we've got coming through is entitled. Yeah, still going through his process.
You know,
but
I listened to one of his songs the other day. He's deep.
this is one, but bro, he was coming to prayer meetings like he's 21 now, from when he was 15, 16. Yeah, within the jail circle, watching certain guys and watching the development of certain people, being around artistry and whatsoever, and he's developed without being on the mic and just doing one track here, one track there. Now everyone's like, where's this guy come from? 5 years of, and even before he came over working with us, it's called development through his parents, his schools, you know what I mean, all different things.
It's called investment, man.
It's all
I
comes
suppose
through.
it's a
called
similar
investment.
kind of thing in football. I was talking to someone about that little club called Man United, and
Yeah. Pogba. Oh, yeah, cool.
no, Martial.
Yeah.
Not even Martial. What's the kid? Rashford.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Where's Rashford come from?"
Yeah.
But he's been in the academy for how long?
Yeah.
Playing how
Groomed.
many games?
Yeah, he's been groomed, yeah.
Nurtured, trained for years. They've known all about him.
And,
So-
and take the responsibility. And I think now,
It's not that good though.
he did. But I want to draw this into a conclusion now. So for me now, in money wise, we need to get wiser. We need to realize, you know, hopefully pastors and leaders listening to, in fact, we need to respect money, not to be driven by money. You know, we emphasized, you know, we can't be driven by money. But the reality show is that even if you want to do it as a side thing, you have to invest into it to do something. You know, you have to pay a producer, you have to market your product. Even at a basic level, you can do that with £100 as long as you got knowledge. Yeah, you know, there's amazing things you can do. Listen, I've done production without no budget and go, how am I going to do this? It wasn't just on my knees. It's a case of sitting down there, reasoning with good people and bringing out a product out there. Everyone invest, go out there, get sponsors, get, you know what I mean? It's cool. I've had to do it myself. You know, ministry itself, guys, it needs to be at a level. I'm hearing stuff like Aaron Cole. Everyone's like, who's that? Again, who is that? But he knows that if he's going to bring out a track and people can listen to it in the UK, it's going to be, yo, who's this? Free download, but it's on quality. It's not like
And I'm glad
dash
you
out
said
there.
that, and I'll be
Go on.
really quick.
Go.
But again, when we say free, it may be free for you to download, but you have to buy a Samsung phone.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to buy a computer.
That's
You're
it.
gonna have to buy an MP3 player that has. You get me?
Yeah.
The economics is, let's invest
Wider.
in the wider issues. Let's invest in Samsung phones.
Mm-hmm.
Let's invest in Apple computers. Let's invest in these internet companies.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? Because Top of the Pops, nobody buys songs anymore for you to tell who's number one.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go with that anymore. So they're not interested in your little £5 buying an album or
Yeah.
single. The wider market is, yeah, it's a free download,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to pay for it. You pay £20 for your contractual phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You pay £20 for your internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. You pay £600 or £700 for your computer.
Yeah. Especially Apple. Probably
Yeah.
more.
And then you think you're getting a free download.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
man, they've already conned
Made the
you.
money, yeah,
they've
they
made the money from
already.
anyway.
Yeah.
So here's a little, you know, going back to the slave days. Here's a bit of chicken for you, man.
Now, for it's like I said, some the guys are looking at the bigger picture. The Simon Cowells are coming from the bigger picture. I always said that, you know, the X Factor for me destroyed the whole A&R industry. Yeah,
It was the final nail. It was the final nail.
Because
And
then
what a
it
big nail it
literally
was.
they made money from finding artists instead of them investing into finding artists. Artists found them and they signed them to worse contracts than when if they had to go and find them. You know, so certain things what we think is, oh yeah, it's easier now. It's actually easier for the guys that we don't see. Now, so we're talking about music. So guys, when you're doing music, hit up people who got experience and realize that nothing's achieved overnight. I always say to people, Jay-Z is not 22 years old. Jay-Z is older than me. He's in his mid 40s.
Yeah,
Big
my-
man
my
still
age.
releasing tunes, you know. So end of the day, still, you know, is mature. He's been there from the beginning of hip hop, and he's waited his time. Dr. Dre, everyone's wearing their Beats headphones and all these nice
let
things.
me be really quick on this.
Yeah,
really
go on. You love Dre.
Hey,
Yo.
but here's the thing.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to say about hip hop. Go to the Forbes Rich list
Yeah.
and check out the most influential book that all the top guys in the Forbes Rich list are reading. And it's 50 Cent's his book. His book is number one, the most inspiring book of all books for the top wealthiest men in the world. Check it out. Don't take my word for it.
Yeah. Check that tonight.
Check it out. 50 Cent.
Download that on iTunes tonight. Have a good listen to that. No, definitely. Now, and I think it's amazing that, you know, when we actually look what wealth we've got within ourselves in our community. We gotta let it out, man. We gotta let it out. But listen, having the final thing, I have to end on this. We've talked many weeks, many times we have live shows about ministry and about offstage ministry, onstage ministry. Listen, man. Listen, walk the talk. Yeah, don't go there and chat. We know life is a journey. We know that things are tough out there. But listen, walk the talk. What annoys me is when you go on stage and talk about this and that about God, and then when you come off stage, you live a different life. We know we're not perfect. Listen, I'm not saying we're perfect Christians. All I'm saying is walk the talk. And it may take, this is why, don't run up on stage. Be mature as a Christian, and we've been pushed too quickly on stage. That we need to stop this and realize that, you know what, character is important, whether it's as a gospel artist, secular artist, because all these people just die dead after scene. Why? Because the character's not ready for it, whatever scene you're going to. So that's just hit up there. So we got money, music, ministry. Take care of that balance that out correctly. And you know what, so whether you're rich, poor, whichever way you look at it, you'll be prosperous because you got the balance and you got it in yourself. And for me, it brings out a sound mind. So you know what, big up to my guest today. You know what, I have to quickly chat this up quick. Colin Peters, he does a cool quickly 20 seconds about the gospel show that you're doing. Go on quick.
Yeah, for those that come to the Jam House, we do the Gospel Central, which is every second Wednesday of the month. We had a Christmas show last night, which was really good. You know, I'm at House of Praise Ministries every Sunday playing bass for my church, for Patrick Campbell. You know, I do lots of secular work. I do gospel music, whatever. I'm there to be employed, but I love my church and I love my gospel music. And I'm saying that there is an avenue for us people to really progress in gospel music. However, we need to learn economics, and that's my thing.
Cool. Manalta, just let people know where you're at.
Yeah, man. Here supporting, investing in people, working a lot with GL.
Amen.
Working with Roper, managing Roper. Look out for him. 2017's a big year.
This is it.
At Manalta on Twitter, at Manalta on Instagram, and overall good guy, investing in people, man.
Blessings. This is Roger Moore here on the Lift Show. We're gonna close off with a track from Jackie Hill Perry. Check me out on at GL360, at GL360 Media. Anything GL, I always say it's my fault. But listen, guys, let's big up Birmingham 2017. We're gonna make some waves here, so watch out for all our names. And it's about coming together, speaking truth now. Yeah. But listen, Jackie Hill Perry, The Art of Joy. Check this out, man.